So Rory has graciously allowed me to talk about what I think of 2010 in music. I'm not going to do a top 10 albums per se, but I'm kind of just going to outline some of the music that caught my attention. I'm going to list some disappointments too, and I will tell you like the two albums that I found enjoying myself the most. So I'm just going to jump right into it because I kind of got a lot to talk about. The biggest surprise for me this year, and what I think's ending up as my number one album for the year, is definitely Ariel Pink's Haunted Graffiti Before Today. I heard Round and Round before the album came out, and it was completely unlike anything he's done before. Not lo-fi, really interesting song structures, got me really hyped for the album. About 3 months later, the album comes out. Wasn't sure what I thought. Listened to it more and more and more, and it's near flawless. I gave it a 9 in an early review, as you might remember. Great album, so I'm just going to move along. Second most favorite album, which is actually sort of a recent album for the year, but it was this year, is Deer Hunter, Halcyon Digest, which I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I did. I wasn't really a big fan of their earlier stuff. I liked Atlas Sound a little bit, but this album, it really grew on me. I listened to it a lot when I was working at new Ronald McDonald House doing the landscaping for it, and it still reminds me of that. Just a great album. All right, and those are the only two albums I'm going to actually rank because I can't really. This was just a sort of a crazy year, and I just can't really rank anything else. But other things I definitely want to talk about are the Panda Bear Tomboy singles that he put out this year, the singles for his upcoming album Tomboy, which I hope is going to come out early next year. Was originally supposed to come out this year. I believe the actual album is going to have different mixes of these songs, but so far the three singles he's put out so far are Tomboy, You Can Count on Me, and Last Night at the Jetty. All three of those have B-sides, and they're great songs, all six of those songs. It's got me really excited for the album. It might even end up being better than Percentage. Alright, and then also in other Animal Collective news, since you guys all know I'm a huge Animal Collective fan. These aren't really albums per se, but Deacon started his solo career this year, touring and writing new songs, and hopefully he's going to record and put out his first solo album on Paw Tracks, Animal Collective's record label, next year. And he's actually rejoining Animal Collective next year, which should be interesting to see where they go with their next album. And of course, everybody knows that Animal Collective finally put out Oddsack, their visual album, which was mind-blowingly good in my opinion. Great songs, great visuals. If you haven't seen that, you guys can check it out. It's on YouTube. Rory should probably post a link. Yates there, me and Rory definitely, that was the first review that Rory and I did on this channel this year. Oh, not first review of the year, but first review I did with Rory. As you know, I really liked it. Rory likes it a little bit less. Not a perfect album. Upon re-listens later in the year, the second half is definitely weaker than the first half, and I don't think I'd quite give it the 8 that I gave it before. I'd probably agree more with Rory now. But still, definitely a great album. Interesting turn for this band. Also, Shoo Shoo, great surprise this year. Again, probably was a little too enthusiastic when it came out, but still, definitely an interesting album for this year. Another album that really caught me off guard is Best Coast's debut album, which is really quite simple. It's just kind of like generic surf rock music, but I think it kind of appeals to the Weezer fan in me of the simple sort of power chords. I mean, not a real deep album, really simple lyrics, but every once in a while it's just nice to put on and listen to a nice sort of simple surf rock song. And of course, another non-actual album, but Pogo, of course, has been prolific this year as well with his movie remixes. If you don't know Pogo, definitely check him out. Faggotron on YouTube. Faggotron, a weird username. But yeah, he's remixed, Terminator, Snow White, Alice in Wonderland, Harry Potter. He's remixed tons of movies into his own songs, and they're really great. Definitely check that stuff out if you haven't. Another album that was great this year that Rory reviewed, but I didn't. We both really enjoyed Tallest Man on Earth's new album, The Wild Hunt. Great songs. Probably, I dare say, the most interesting artist out there right now with just his voice and an acoustic guitar, although he is venturing into sort of the piano with the last song on the album, I believe. but one of the best songwriters out there right now, I think, without a doubt. King of Spain, easily one of my top songs of the year. Also, another album that Rory and I both really enjoyed, but didn't get around to reviewing this year, Owen Pallett's Heartland. Great record. Just every time I listen to this album, I feel like it's what Andrew Bird wishes he could be. It's just great like melodies with violin and like loops. So kind of like Andrew Bird, but just way denser, way more intense. If you haven't listened to this, you should definitely check it out. Another sort of album that surprised me and caught me off guard, Dustin Wong's new album, the guitarist formerly of Ecstatic Sunshine and Ponytail. He just put out a new album of guitar riffs, which it sounds similar to his previous work, but still really interesting stuff. Gets a little tedious at times, but it's a good album. You should check it out if you haven't. Another album. It's sort of funny. It's not a great album, but I'm still a Weezer fan. I probably always will be. I actually thought the new Weezer album, Hurley, wasn't bad. I think it's probably their best since Maladroit, which is saying a lot. I mean, it's not great, but it does have some good songs on it. I dare say Memories, Trainwrecks, good songs on that album. It's got some good songs. Again, not that deep, kind of like Best Coast, but I still like simple stuff every once in a while. Alright, that's it, basically, for the albums I really enjoyed. Now I think I'm going to venture into some disappointments real quick. And I might get some flack for this. Some of these albums Rory kind of liked, and I didn't too much. And some of these albums by bands I've really enjoyed previously kind of let me down a bit this year, but hopefully they'll do get better next time or next year. One of the main albums this year that really disappointed me, that you guys might know if you saw the review, was Mononymous' new album, Minds. Just not what I was expecting at all. It really sucked the fun out of their music, I thought. Rory disagrees, but, to each their own. Another album that kind of disappointed me, but not to the extent Mononymous did, was Caribou's new album. Still a really good album, just sort of lacked the fun, bouncy indie melodies that Andorra did. Interestingly enough, both those bands' previous albums, Mononymous and Caribou, were released in 2007, which was like a great year for music, and Rory and my opinions, and a lot of our other friends too. Another album that was kind of disappointment that obviously Ford, Rory, and I reviewed was The Books, The Way Out. Another long wait for that album too. It took 5 years from the last one. Still a good album. Just a little not adventurous enough for The Books. They should. I think they should have taken their ideas a little bit farther on that album, but still a good album. Another album that was a little disappointing for me, Midlake's new album. I really liked their 2006 album, The Trials of Anarchy Panther. This one was way more stripped down, kind of just a typical sort of indie folk album. Just didn't really strike me as that interesting. But whatever. This one will probably rile some people, but the new Sufjan Stevens album just did not do it for me. Again, another long wait for that one. Just did not have the appeal that Illinois did. But of course, it is really hard to follow Illinois, since that is one of the greatest albums there is, I think. It's a great album, but, whatever. Another really big disappointment, Have One On Me by Joanna Newsom. I really liked her first two albums. This one was just way too long. I'm not a fan of double albums. I'm not a fan of triple albums. To me, there's like maybe 2 or 3 okay songs in this album. The rest of it sounds the same, nonsensical, and just boring. She didn't change her sound at all. It's like I don't need to listen to the same Joanna Newsom song over and over and over again. Alright, I'm trying to keep this pace going. 2 more disappointments, and then a couple other things to talk about, and I should be wrapped up. Contra, the new Vampire Weekend album. This will get me some heat too, I'm sure. But that was, I dare say, terrible. That album, my ears bleed. And I still like their first album. I don't know what happened here. That's all I can say. I know it went #1 on the Billboard charts, and that's not the reason I hate it. But I don't know. Another really big disappointment, All Day, the new Girl Talk album. Seriously, what happened? Feed the Animals, his previous album, is probably his best album. This one, I've only listened to it a couple times because that's all I can stand from it. It seems like he sucked all the fun out of his music. It sort of seems like he's getting a little tired doing what he's doing. I hope he picks it up again next time. All right, well, a pretty interesting surprise for me personally this year was a band that I've loathed, Arcade Fire. I've just never been able to get into them. The Suburbs, I actually gave a chance, and there's their one album so far that I could actually listen to. I don't think I like it in the typical sense. I wouldn't just put it on when I want to listen to something nice, but if I'm feeling in sort of a weird mood, I'm feeling a little adventurous, and I want to challenge myself, I'll put on The Suburbs, and I dare say Sprawl 2 Mountains to Mountains is a pretty damn good song. Another sort of interesting band that sort of debuted this year was O, or, spelled lowercase o, uppercase o, lowercase o, uppercase o, uppercase o. Part of this new, witch house thing that I don't think is really a genre. Way less of a genre than Chillwave was last year. But, sort of interesting stuff. Sort of like this dark, sort of haunted music. But not in the sense that Ariel Pink's music is in a sense haunted, way more spooky. Deep, dark synths. Rory really liked the track No Shore, and I think that's a great example of what's appealing on this album. I really love that track too. And then two more things I want to talk about are the biggest bullshit indie hyped albums of the year. Albums that got tons of attention that I just thought were the same old crap indie rock music, one of which Rory really loved. But Surfer Blood is one. Rory didn't like that, and neither did I. I thought that was just the same old crap. A lot of it sounded like rip-off of the Shins, well, especially the track Twin Peaks, but I don't know what was up with that. It got a lot of hype. And Avi Buffalo, that's the one Rory really liked. I saw no appeal there whatsoever. To me, it was just a bunch of teenage kids writing boring indie music, and I don't know. That's really all I'm gonna say about 2010 in music. Sorry I didn't do a top 10 per se, but it's a pretty good year for music. I think 2009 was a little bit more exciting for me, but yeah, hopefully 2009 will bring some good albums. I'm really looking forward to Deacon and Panda Bear's albums, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks again to Rory and Track by Track Reviews for having me on.